Hi everyone, my name is Aiko Hemingway and I am an American English pronunciation coach based in Hawaii. I teach Japanese people who are in the US working in an English environment or wanting to work in an English environment to be able to communicate better in the US. Okay, so today we have a special guest because many Japanese people have told me that, oh, Aiko, I am not confident because of my English accent, or I feel so nervous when I speak English. So we have a special guest today, Helen Iwata, who is a TEDx speaker and the president of Sasuga Communications. So if you are watching this on YouTube or replay on Facebook, please comment below if you have any questions, and so we can check the comments later. So please comment below, and thank you for watching live. Helen, thank you very much for joining this live show. Finally you're here. And would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh my goodness, straight into about myself. All right. So I am I'm from the UK originally. I've lived in Japan we're getting on to 28 years. This summer it will be 28 years that I've been in Japan. My name is Iwata because my husband is Iwata. So I'm not Japanese at all. I'm very British. Well, not very British, maybe quite British. People sometimes think, oh, you're from the UK, so does that mean that you're from London? But no, I'm not from London. I'm from the north of England. And one thing that Aiko, you may find interesting because, you know, pronunciation is your thing. So where I come from, my original accent was very strong, a very strong Yorkshire accent. And what's special about that is we don't pronounce the H at the beginning of the word. We don't pronounce T in the middle or at the end of the word.
Yeah.
So if we say it's hot, we say oh, just becomes hot. Or if you have a hat on your head, it's an out. And when I went to university, which was not in Yorkshire, there was one of my friends who said to me, she said, Helen, for the first few months of us knowing each other, I didn't know if your name was Helen or Ellen, because I didn't pronounce the H because in Yorkshire we don't pronounce the H, so everyone would call me Ellen. I called myself Ellen, but it was with an H. So yeah, that's, you know, basically I came to Japan. I've worked in Japan. First of all, I was in the education system. I then worked in the steel industry. I then spent 10 years with McKinsey, the management consulting firm, where I was, one of my roles was delivering communication skills training and coaching to McKinsey consultants and clients. And I loved that work. I loved to see the change in people. So in 2013, I left McKinsey, and the next day I set up my own business, Sasuga Communications. And it started off as a kojin jigyo, you know, just a sole proprietor, and in 2016 became kabushiki gaisha. So I now a limited. Yeah, and I love my work. I just love to get to work with different people. I work with, you know, big companies, big gaishike especially, but also Japanese companies that are wanting to be more global. And I support people with presentation skills, meeting facilitation skills, those kind of things. And you can also find it online things too. So that's just
I like that. Yes, I like your enthusiasm all the time because I've watched your videos and you're always enthusiastic. So people, like, I'm learning from you a lot about communication. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes to one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, because I think our topic is about how to feel more confident when speaking in English. Yes. And it first of all, the most important thing to know is it is absolutely normal to feel nervous. It's normal as a human being to feel nervous about speaking in your native language. And then if you're speaking in a different language, it's even more normal. because as human beings, we are concerned about what other people think of us. This is something that, from primitive times, we had to survive, we had to be part of a group. If we weren't part of a group, we couldn't find food for ourselves. There wasn't a conveni that we could just go to. It was difficult to find food as an individual, or we might become food for a passing beast. So it's important to have that group acceptance, and that's really ingrained in us as human beings. So that's one thing that makes us really nervous in speaking up. Will I be accepted by people? So again, even more so when you're speaking a different language. And I felt this when I was studying Japanese. At first, I wanted to be perfect in my Japanese, but I realized that held me back, because if I'm hesitating all the time to speak, then I don't get the practice and I just don't get better. And I actually learned that I could learn faster if I made mistakes. So that's the first thing to remember, is just it's normal to be nervous.
Okay, well, that is like huge encouragement for English learners, especially like Japanese people. When we greet, we say, "Oh, I'm from Japan and I cannot speak English." That's like a really common phrase that we use as the introduction.
Yeah, it's amazing. With presentation skills, so many Japanese people start off their presentation with, "I'm not very good at English." Well, why do you have to tell us? What, let the audience be the judge. You don't need to tell the audience, and they probably don't even think that. So
right.
Yeah.
Wow, very good. Wow. No, that's good.
I see it all the time. I see people they hesitate. So, like, just for example, I've recently done. I'm a lecturer at Waseda Business School. I run a course, the Strategic Thinking and Communication course, and we've just finished one program there. And there were some of the students who were a little bit shy, and they didn't speak up so much during the course. But when they got to give their final presentations, everybody was amazing, absolutely amazing. And so in my feedback, I was saying, just step out of your comfort zone a little bit more. You are much better than you think you are. You are the only one who's holding yourself back, and just go out and make those mistakes and learn faster.
Right. Wow, that is a very encouraging tip for Japanese people. Make a lot of mistakes and step out comfort zone. And it's okay. It feels normal to be nervous.
Yeah, it's absolutely normal. And the interesting thing as well is that you can switch it quite easily because the physical feeling of nervousness is very similar to the physical feeling of excitement. Right, so it's you get your heart's beating fast, you maybe sweat a little bit. There's all sorts of things going on with the body. So if you change in your mind to, actually, I'm excited about this. And before I came on this live with you, I was nervous. Like, it's normal. I felt my heart to start, it starts beating like this, but I immediately made the switch, and I said, I'm excited. I'm really excited about doing this, and I am. And maybe that is actually kind of a little secret about why I come across as so enthusiastic.
Because I see.
I turn that nervousness into excitement, and anybody can do that.
Wow. I'm learning a lot here. Oh my God, it's so exciting.
Right?
Actually, yes. So actually, we did a little test before this show, and I told you, right? Like, oh, I'm nervous. And then you said, nervousness and excitement are similar. So you're nervous, that means you're excited. So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That is a huge realization today for the day.
All right. So shall I get my so that was just like introduction stuff. I still have 3 more tips to share.
Yes, please.
So,
and if you're sorry. So if you are watching here live, and if you have any questions for Helen, please comment here so that she can answer later. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so
And
go
so
ahead.
Yeah, this is for people who are joining live, but also for people who are watching the replay. You can put comments in there, and I know that Aiko will be keeping an eye on that and can always let me know if there are follow-up questions for me. I'm very, very happy to answer those. So let's go to these 3 tips before I get really, really excited and go off on another tangent. So tip number 1. And this is related to the fact that I've said that, you know, when we get nervous, we're focusing on ourselves. That's the thing. We're thinking, what do people think of me? So switch it round. First tip is think about the other person. Who is it that you're communicating with? You know, if you're speaking up in a meeting, if you are giving a presentation, if you're just talking to one of your colleagues, for example, think about, what does this person need from me? How can I help this person? And take the attention from yourself to the other person. And just by doing that, that takes away the nervousness. And it helps you to be a better communicator because you're thinking about the other person as well. So that's number 1.
Wow, that is usually people get nervous because, oh, what if I make a mistake? Or what if I'm so worried about what other people think about me.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's the huge mindset that you start thinking about other people, then you don't start thinking about yourself. Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I just got hello from Tia. Tia, hey, good.
Oh, really?
And
Hi,
Atsuko is watching. Kono-san is watching. Phil Robertson said hello, and Akiyoshi-san is watching. Thank you very much. I just wanted to call out.
All right, tip number 2.
Yes.
Breathe. Breathe. People forget to do this when they're speaking. And you know, it's a really interesting thing. Have you ever thought about this? When you are speaking, you can only speak on the out breath. When you're speaking, it's all the breath coming out, which means you need some breath coming in. Otherwise, you're not going to have the oxygen. So take, you know, what happens is people get nervous and start speaking quickly. Just take a moment to breathe and then carry on talking. It's okay.
Wow. This is such a basic thing, but when we get nervous, we forget. That is so true. Yes. Wow. Wow.
And
so that's the tip number 2.
That's number 2. And just a little bit more on that is, if you look around, like if you go to a big event and you look around the room, or even just, you know, you're in a business meeting and you look around the room, the person who has the most stable breathing is the person who has the most influence in the room. So it's something that, of all those kind of signs of being nervous in the body, the physical signs, like, you know, sweating, heart pounding, we can't control that. That's something that the body just does. But breathing, we can control. So take that one as tip number 2. So number 1 is focus on the audience, focus on the other person. Number 2 is breathe.
Wow. I was just trying to do deep breathing so that I can calm down. So I was just implementing your technique just now, and it feels great. Cause
it does feel great. So let's maybe take a moment. You know, with people watching, take a moment and just go, okay, take a breath in, take a breath out, and in, and out. And I mean, we could go into all sorts of, there's more detail about whether you're breathing with your chest or your abdomen. There's, like, you know, there's a whole great subject, but let's just for now, just say, remember to breathe.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And this is not just for when you're speaking English, but you can just use this for anything in your life.
Yeah. Exactly. When you feel a little bit upset, you can just take a little bit of time to breathe. That's a quick fix for when your, you know, emotions are running wild.
Right. Right. Wow. So that was the tip number 2. And I just want to call out people who just joined. Emiko is watching, and she said, "I can't watch your lovely ladies on replay." Okay. Yes. Okay. And then Nikki is watching. Hello, Nikki.
Hi,
And
Nikki.
Emiko said hi. And Akari said heart mark face.
Oh, thank you.
And Atsuko said hello. And Kyoko-san is watching. Kayoko-san is watching. Thank you very much for joining right now. And Yumi Uemura said,
Yay,
thumbs up.
Yumi.
Yes, thank you very much for joining. So people who just joined, please, if you have any questions for Helen about tips to speak English confidently, please comment here so that she can answer your questions later in this show. So we just have gone through 2 tips. The first one was to, yes, 2 tips. So the first one is to focus on other people or audience.
Yeah.
Second one is to control your breathing.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. So to the third one. All right. Now, basically, what I teach, my approach, it's let's make it simple. And this third one is very simple, and it sounds very obvious, and people don't do it. The third one is practice. Right?
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Good at something if you don't practice. You know, think of babies, for example, when they're learning to walk, and this goes back to making mistakes as well. By the way, these are so much linked. You know, when a baby's learning to walk, they just get going. Then they fall down, and then they get up again, and they just keep going. You know, they don't fall down and go, oh, I can't do it. I'm no good at this. What will people think of me? You know, they don't do that. So we can learn from babies. Keep practicing, do it again and again. You know, you watch small children, they're always doing the same thing again and again and again and again because they're getting good at it. They're learning. So, and Tony Robbins talks about repetition is the mother of skill. Repetition is the mother of skill. So just keep doing it until you get better at it.
Right. Wow. This is like, the second one was really simple. I mean, not simple, but basic. And this is obvious. This is really obvious.
Yeah.
But we forget. We forget about this.
People don't do it. You know, and if you're at work, for example, and you've got a difficult conversation coming up, do you take time to practice it? Most people don't. And what would it be like? Even just running through the conversation once, even just doing it yourself, just talking into a mirror, practicing the conversation, or even better, practice with someone else, do a kind of a little role play. But practice. Let me give you a little example as well from kind of my past and my learning to speak Japanese, because I think that helps to relate to people who are wanting to learn to be more confident in English. So when I first came to Japan, I was teaching English in junior high schools. And what I would do is, for example, I'd do whatever it was whatever activity at the weekend. And on the Monday, I would go into the teacher's room and I would find the teacher and I would talk to them about what I did at the weekend in Japanese. And of course, I would make mistakes. And of course, there would be parts that I couldn't express very well. So I learned how to say those things. And then I would go and have the same conversation with another person, but I put in those bits that I learned. And then I'd learn a little bit more. And then I'd go and have the same conversation with another person. And so it was just repeating that same conversation until I got used to it and I could speak.
Wow. So the key is to repeat the same thing, but implement the things that you just learned and just get better and better.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally encouraging.
If you make mistakes, just have fun with it. Like, you can laugh at your mistake. When I think back to some of the mistakes that I made, I'm not so sure how we are for time, but you know, I could talk about, maybe we have time, that I can talk about mistakes that I made when learning Japanese that you know, I can laugh about it now. It's funny to think of that now. And once I made that mistake, I never made that mistake again.
Wow, thank you very much. I know you said you have many more tips, so maybe you can come back to the Facebook Live show, or we can
Yeah,
talk about it
yeah.
again. Yes.
Loads of topics. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I spoke about this topic of as human beings being nervous. So like I don't know if people know, 英語の仕事術 is a book that I published. It's now available on, it's the physical copy. It's also available on Kindle. And it covers there's 5 chapters which cover the topics that I consider essential for communication in business. So it doesn't even have to be English, but of course there are tips around the English as well. This is really about effective communication. So it talks about listening and questioning, presentation skills, telephone conference calls. I know that's a big one for a lot of people. Meeting facilitation and dealing with conflict. So there's 5 topics that a lot of people struggle with, and learning some simple, this is my keyword, simple, actionable techniques that you can use immediately to make a difference. So that's actually, it's only at the moment that I do share a lot of tips in English on my blog on the sasagacommunications.com page.
So the book is available in Japan, and also people overseas, they can order it on Amazon.
You can just get it. Yeah.
Okay. Would you show us the book again? 英語の仕事術 Just making sure that if the audience is interested in it, then you can order it. So it's 英語の仕事術 Helen, Iwata, Helen.
Yeah, and I think you see it backwards because it's on Facebook Live, maybe. So, but it's actually, the cover is not backwards. The cover is the right, and all the writing inside is the right way around. Yeah.
So I heard you have retreat coming up.
I do have a retreat, and so in relation to this topic of confidence, this is one thing that we focus on in the Sasaga U Self-Discovery Weekend. Now this is only for women, so gentlemen watching, I'm sorry, it's only for women. It's for working women in Japan. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. And in fact, you can fly in. In fact, for the next one in November, we already have a Japanese lady who's based in the Philippines, and she's flying in to join this retreat. So I'm really excited about this. And really what it is an opportunity to take some time away from your daily life and to reflect, to learn some skills to build confidence. It's run in English, but we can very easily switch to Japanese into. The English level we can adjust, and we also adjust the content to a certain extent to the needs of the people in the room, because we want to make sure that it is the best possible experience for the people who are there, and that you can really get what you want from it. It's also an opportunity to meet some really inspiring people. So the next one in November will be the 3rd retreat that we've run, and every time and each other, and for working with other people who are involved as well. So that is a great part of it, as well as the opportunity to just relax and refresh and revitalize a bit, because it's held in a little onsen town, a hot spring town called Yumoto in Iwaki. It's a gorgeous place. You get off the train, and immediately on the platform there's the ashiyu, where you can put your feet in the hot spring and you relaxing immediately. We also have yoga sessions to no matter whether you're a beginner or you're a pro at yoga, that's another opportunity to relax. So it's just 3 days. It's a Saturday to a Monday, where you get to learn some new things, reflect on how to be the best version of you. You meet great people, and you get to relax and revitalize. So yeah, I would love, if you think that I can be helpful to you, to everybody who's watching, if I can be helpful in any way, just contact me. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what I can do for you. And thank you so much. I really appreciate, for the people who've joined live, I really appreciate that you've taken the time to do this. For everybody who's watching the replay, fantastic. Thank you. Please share it. Share it with people if you found it useful. Yes. Tell other people about it. And especially huge thanks to you, Aiko. You are an absolute rock star. I love that you're so proactive. I love that you're so proactive. You're offering a service helping people with their pronunciation, which is absolutely fantastic. That's something that I don't do. And what I do now is that when I have clients who have concerns about their pronunciation, I refer them to Aiko. So, she is the person to go to, definitely. And, just the fact that you're doing things like this today, doing a joint Facebook Live, I know, so I really admire you for doing that. You're a great inspiration.
Thank you very much. I'm so motivated now. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for your time, because I'm sure I learned a lot. So I'm sure people who are watching this learned a lot. So I'm so more motivated now and learn the communication skills from you. So I'm sure many people are thinking that way. So hopefully, we can put the link here so that you can help more, Helen, you can help more Japanese people in the US or overseas.
Yeah. Very happy to do that. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you. We should do this one more time. あかりさんがまた楽しみにしています。So hopefully we can plan something and have the second show. Yes.
Sounds good.
Very good. Okay, so thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Helen, and thank you very much for watching live or replay. Thank you very much. So hopefully we come back soon. So thank you very much. So have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.